Hi, friends. I'm retired pastor, teacher, theologian Papa Dale. Today's Bible lesson is 7 Miracles That Atheists Must Believe. Now, I've been serving Christ and studying the Bible for over 50 years. See more about me in a video in this playlist titled Papa Dale Intro. 1 John 2:15 says, "Love not the world." Christ versus Culture is a playlist that explores the teaching and implications of that. Listen to this lesson, or any Bible teacher, with caution. 1 John 4:1 says, "Dear friends, do not believe everyone who claims to speak by the Spirit. There are many false prophets in the world. Many false teachers are rising up in these end times. They cherry pick verses, take them out of context to support their favorite but false doctrines, so be cautious. Every teacher will sound believable, but they must be consistent and congruent with the teaching of the entire Bible, or the teaching is false." So, let's go to the teaching for today. 7 miracles atheists must believe. Now, atheists who never assert their alternative hypothesis for the existence of the world and humanity within it are either too lazy or too ignorant to do so. The ignorant are simply willing to happily be ignorant. The lazy make no effort to think about it, as it might give them a headache. They are too happy to proclaim their own ignorance. "We don't believe in a God," while childishly saying, as it were, "Neener, neener. No matter what you say, you can't convince me." Those who do make an intellectual effort to understand the nature of reality are just dishonest. They believe that science is the defeater of theism. By science, they mean a materialistic, naturalistic explanation for the bursting out of nothingness of everything, to randomly and mindlessly cause all that exists. They do this even in the face of the mathematical impossibility for undirected random causation. They cling to this notion, but when challenged on matters of faith, like a turtle, they withdraw into their shell of ignorance and denial. "We don't know why it happened. We only know for certain that it couldn't have been God." Regardless of anything any theist might say, their answer is always, "You can't prove that." When they withdraw behind a smug curtain of false, intellectually superior, and impenetrable ignorance. As the most well-known atheist of the 20th century, Anthony Flew, said, quote, "I have an almost invincible disinclination to believe," end quote. One can almost hear him saying, "Neener, neener." Atheists often charge that Christianity is foolish because they say its foundation is blind faith. That statement is either a witting or unwitting lie, but lie it is. If you ask them what evidence would be convincing to you, they never answer, but rather say, "Well, that's your problem. You have the burden of proof. Neener, neener. You can't make me believe Christianity is not blind." There are two topics over which the clash centers: the resurrection of Jesus and the creation. With reference to the resurrection, Christianity is based on a preponderance of historical, factual evidence. The same kind of factual evidence offered and accepted in courtrooms every day. It accumulates the known facts, it researches the statements of the participants in the Christian narrative and bystander testimony, it examines the aftermath of those purported events, it examines the statements of contemporary enemies, it investigates the historical impact the events had, it proposes a conclusion that best fits the facts of reality. And, in spite of persecution, torture, and death, the commitment to the narrative is and was always upheld. Now, no one alive today was there. So, like in a courtroom, we can only rely on the evidence, the facts. It leads us to the conclusion that the gospel is true. With regard to creation, Christians assert that God, the powerful, intelligent designer, generated and orchestrated it. Most atheists who claim an ability to think proffer the atheistic naturalism hypothesis as an alternative to theistic supernaturalism explanation. Atheists ignore the mathematical impossibility, the mathematical chance that the more than 100 facts of physics, known as the cosmological fine-tuning, for no reason self-generated randomly and resulted in this universe, and the chances of that is less than 1 in 10 to the 83rd power. And that's like randomly selecting a single correct atom from a pile of atoms 4 times larger than all the atoms in the universe while blindfolded. For those who don't intellectually turtle up, there are at least 7 things atheistic, materialistic, naturalists must believe in order to affirm their alternate history of existence. Every one is unproven and has no evidentiary basis in fact. Some of these assertions violate known and accepted laws of physics. Not one time in history has any of the following ever been known to occur. Number 1, existence comes from non-existence. 2, order comes from chaos. 3, life comes from non-life. 4, personal comes from the non-personal. 5, reason comes from non-reason. 6, morality comes from matter. 7, information comes from non-information. The belief requirements of atheistic naturalism are by far the most stringent of any religious system, and they require the most faith. One more religion founded on the basis of fantasy, the religion of atheism. Well, that's all I got to say for now. If you have comments, questions, or prayer requests, you can leave them in the comment section down below. And there's also a link down there to my Facebook page if you'd like to communicate that way. And there's a link to these lesson notes down there if you'd like to go over them again more slowly. I do think that the Lord will allow me time to put up another video. And so I will say, until then, this is your old pal Papa Dale signing off for now and saying, I'm going to be praying for you that you will be well and that you will be blessed. And that's 2 thumbs up. Count them. 1, 2.